mistakes that he certainly won't be happy with. I mean, that is the cardinal error. You concede 3 points, you must get the ball at least 10 metres.
Scrummage again, driven back on the tight head side. Will Green feeling the... Oh, brilliant by O'Driscoll. That is sheer world class by O'Driscoll, and good cover by Bartholomew's and Tommy Bowe. But what about that? That was sensational, and that's why he's probably the best centre in the world.
But that's incredible. I'm not sure.
In many areas of our lives, we make plans. We think ahead, and we try and anticipate what and how things may happen. Well, it should be no surprise that I say that rugby is very much the same. Teams plan and they anticipate. They train, cross their I's and dot their T's, but in life, no matter how much we plan and anticipate, one thing we know, things rarely go exactly to plan. We always have to have some mental capacity to be able to adjust as we see things unfold. For no position is this more true than the 13 position. Good 13s understand that they can't dictate how the game transpires, but rather that they have to adapt to it. Inside backs like 9s and 10s and 12s usually have to make a prediction, then make a decision, and then execute that decision based on the picture they see in front of them. Whereas 13s have the advantage or burden, depending on how you choose to look at it, to see how a part of the picture unfolds first. So they don't control how things happen, but they have the benefit of getting a peek before deciding what to do. Because just like life, rugby has a lot of moving parts. Forwards work hard to provide clean ball and forward momentum. Inside backs control play and make decisions whilst outside backs land the killer blows. Outside backs are at the mercy of the forwards' ability to win clean ball and the inside back's ability to execute good decisions accurately. Caught in the middle of this interdependent relationship is our 13. Our outside centre is too far from the base to be considered as part of the decision-making axis and not out wide enough to be classed as an outside back. Most teams use a 13 to run their defensive line. Their position gives them a good vantage point of teammates on their inside and teammates on their outside, allowing them to call for adjustments or reinforcements where they see it is needed. Playing 13 is just awkward. It's awkward on attack and it's awkward on defence. On attack, they have to balance being responsive to what the decision makers are doing on their inside, and they have to be mindful of what impact their actions may have on the players outside them. On defence, they have to switch between defending like an inside back, which means they have to be covering less ground but expect power runners to be heading straight at them. Or they have to cover ground and try and catch pacey outside backs. It is this type of balancing act that is hard to teach quickly, but an art form that usually needs a bit of time to make a second nature. This is made even more tricky in modern rugby, as teams now love to employ pod systems, where the pods are forwards that can either select to carry the ball up or distribute it to the backs to play wide. The entire idea behind the pod system is to create confusion in the defensive line, and the player that needs to keep a cool head is the outside centre. Until now, I've said that the forward's main job on attack is to carry the ball over the advantage or gain line when defences are set. But in truth, modern rugby has expanded on this expectation through the pod system. Nowadays, if you see a forward taking the ball up into a set defence by themselves, it is a sign that the team is struggling to fall into their structures. So ingrained it is in modern rugby, particularly at the professional level, where players are fitter and are expected to maintain structures for longer before tiring or falling behind. Pods offer higher success in contact, higher ball retention, and most importantly, they add a dimension on attack that keep defences guessing. Forwards have the option of unloading the ball out the back to a playmaker just after committing defenders. So the defence as a whole does not know if this is a situation where they should be standing their ground and take the impact from the big guys, or if they should be on their toes and ready to close down space on the quicker guys until the last moment. And the 13 is at the heart of this confusion. The big guys close to the ruck know they will either be tackling or not. The outside backs know they will either be closing down space on their opponent or not. However, things just aren't that binary in the 13 channel. An outside centre needs to quickly assess if they need to shoot and close down space, or if they need to defend close quarters, or if they have to disengage and set up for the next phase. And as you can imagine, making an accurate assessment and reacting appropriately is not something that is easy for a newcomer. For me, an outside centre is generally more pacey than an inside centre. It is important that they have the ability to keep up with the faster outside backs, and more speed means they have an easier go at creating time and space for the wingers to receive the ball at speed. It is common for players who played wing in their younger years to move into outside centre as they age and lose some pace, but have gained a lot of important experience. The two centre positions have as much in common as they have differences. They both have to strike a balance between running play and distribution. They both have to deal with the awkwardness of being in the middle of the distribution chain. And they both play a vital role on defence. The 12 deals with a lot of traffic, and the 13 often have to make difficult decisions. But it is the ability to make difficult decisions that also gives a good outside centre the ability to be opportunistic. A good outside centre is decisive. They can't be in two minds. Players on their inside spend a lot of time in the game trying to create opportunities for them and the players outside them. So the 13 spends more time trying to recognise and take these opportunities that are either created for them by the inside backs or opportunities that present themselves in the chaos of rugby, often of opposition mistakes. Being able to think on your feet is a big asset in this position. They don't dictate, they respond. A classic great who had this trait in the 13 position for me was the Irishman Brian O'Driscoll. He was as opportunistic as they come. He was not the biggest and the most physically gifted centre, but he was pacey, had good skills, great vision, and most importantly, had a quick wit to know how to make opponents pay for their mistakes. And he did, often. One of Hollywood's most undervalued characters is often the protagonist's best friend, the wingman, the BFF, the one that knows how to think fast and get you out of a sticky situation, or the one that knows how to make you look good. They are unassuming, not about glory or themselves, but about the team, and they will do what is needed to hold the ship so those around them can shine.
Well, I think the All Blacks have got it back, yes. So Ellis, away for Carter, no, it's McCaw. Now it's Carter, out to Smith. Smith showing good pass. Conrad Smith is through. 7 by 2. First try of the season.
So they had to go. Smith clapped on the pace because there was a bit of depth. A bit of an opportunity. The gap opened. He just took it. He ran straight. He drew the Irish defence and he threw the perfect pass. Sibi Vatu, the dive before the line for all young wingers watching it. Everything was smart about that. Well, that's what I've come to see, and so's the crowd.